All right, welcome to Pilates and Strength. No, welcome to Mindful Cardio and Strength. I have my weights out today, the step. You can have whatever you'd like to do for your own strength and your own cardio. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about more the power of less. So a little bit about decluttering, a little bit about slowing down, exercise, eating, little tidbits in here and there. But we want to stay mindful too of the mindful part of our practice of the cardio and being in the body while we practice today. So that'll be first and foremost. So today I'm going to start out with a little bit of core just to feel a little more connected. Then we'll come up to the feet. We'll use the step. We'll do the cardio portion, and then we'll end with a little more upper body strength with the weights. So either weights or your elastic will work for that. All right, there's the game plan. Let's go ahead and get started. Come onto your back and take a few breaths there. And let's start with the arms, taking the arms upward, and let's just reach them overhead, letting things stretch out a little bit, taking in a breath, exhale, bring it back up. And then let's exhale overhead. And do as you would like here, kind of feeling the shoulders come down if they will, or broaden if they want to. Inhale up, exhale over. And just using that movement to bring my awareness to the breath a little bit. Open up the shoulders too. Bring the hands behind the head when you're ready, then interlacing the fingers and bringing the elbows to that just right spot, not too far out and not too concerned about being pointed toward the ceiling. Lift the head. And with an exhale, let's work on that core, waking up the core a little bit, coming up to lift the shoulders, to make sure that the head can stay nice and soft here, jaws soft. And then slowly coming back and relax the arms out. And with an exhale up. And let's bring the knees up this time. And you can bring the feet back down, upper body back down. Nice deep breath. And then one more time coming up. This time, let's take the hands away alongside the body and let's just give ourselves a little reach further with left hand, come back to center, reach further with right hand, come back to center. Trying not to move the hips at all here, but moving with the belly, the side belly. One more. Back to center, and come back down. And then just relax everything again. Shoulders, throat. And then take the feet up. And just feeling the weight of the feet coming into the pelvis here. Notice where that lands. Is it right at the top of your pelvis in the back? I'm just doing a little bit of moving here just to feel where it's at. And I'm going to bend the knees and let's do some knee folds. Tap the heel down, come back up. Tap and come back up. Tap. And generally I find the slower I do this, the more I can connect it to my belly. The further away you decide to go with your heel. So keeping that heel or that knee bend, but giving yourself a little bit further to go. Let the knee fall a little bit further down. Good. And then go ahead and draw the legs in or let them go up if you'd like. Nice. Let's take that into one more piece. We've taken the feet and the hands away from our center line, the belly here. So let's bring the feet up again, bring the arms up. And you're gonna do that same movement. Heel's gonna come down with one foot, other opposite arm is gonna go overhead and then come back up. Opposite limbs away from the center, the belly button. Good. Last one. And then go ahead and grab onto the backs of the legs, and you can give a little bit of a roll here and use that momentum to come on up, and we'll come up to our feet. Good. So then finding your bike, your rowing machine, your step, your weights. If you wanted to have a little extra resistance, you could have that with you here. Good. So starting out, right foot. Right, right, right. Starting out kind of slowly today, checking in with that heart rate. I want to feel really nice and solid. But if you are in a little more connected place and feeling like it's time to go faster, you can do that. So in last week's class, recorded, I think we had a recorded class, I talked about your list of what you do have to do in your life, what you have to, what you've been doing, and then maybe editing to the essentials. And one of the places that he highlights is being able to say no then to some of the things that maybe you have done and you're really ready to take some time off from those. We had some nice suggestions. One was to be honest with people about how maybe you're wanting to pare back, you're wanting some clarity. So being honest. Let's go with the left foot. Maybe you simply need to say, I'm overbooked. And being firm about those conversations or in those conversations. There's no wobble in your statements. I wish I could is a good one. I wish I could do whatever. And then to not be sorry about it. Sometimes, especially women, we tend to be sorry, say we're sorry, sometimes too much when it's not necessary. So be honest. I'm overbooked. Be firm. I wish I could. Good. How's it going? Coming back, coming into a little bit more wake up in the big skeletal muscles, the quadriceps and the hamstrings. They're what really tend to start to work the heart. When we get the big skeletal muscles going, they're what can keep our heart fit. So when we walk long time, when we walk and it's a little more arduous uphill, we get those big muscles pumping and the heart has to respond to keep blood going everywhere else. Let's go ahead and switch every other. Nice. So we talk about decluttering in this book, declutter your workspace, decluttering the house. And there's various methods for this. This author talks a little bit more about just clearing everything, getting to ground zero, putting everything in a box and then going through that. It's for your desk space, maybe. Considering what you use, what you don't. A little bit of traveling here, a little bit of moving on the board, on the step. And how's that heart rate going? And for the house, everything has its place. Schedule decluttering sessions. Try to have that be a part of the day, a part of each week, a part of each month. Reduce the desire for more. This mindfulness piece can come in handy, especially this time of year. We're encouraged on all sides to consume food, consume goods, make our purchases. Reduce the desire for more. And maybe paying attention to, as you obtain the items you think you desire, they're bettering your life, or simply another thing you will have to declutter later. And changing habits is the last one on the decluttering the house. I'm not sure exactly other than changing the habits of what comes in and adding in those habits of every now and then going through what you have. For a while there, I did a lot of reading and research on minimalism, getting down to the bare essentials, and how that opens up so much more space and time in your life. Again, to have fewer things to take care of, to have the things that really bring joy and meaning, or that are simply a tool. I don't know if I'd want to get rid of my food processor. Pretty helpful tool for me. I use it often, even if it is a big kitchen item. All right, let's go right over the top. Back, back, right foot, right foot, right foot, right foot. You could be doing your left, that's no problem. I'm just going to try to stay with one side for a little while. And check my note. All right, still right foot. I'm going to switch that up after this one more. And then I'll be leading with the left. I like this one because I have to figure out how to go backwards. Not something I have to do that often in daily life. Left, 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 left. So the next topic, next little section, slowing down. Not necessarily in this practice. If you want to get your heart rate up there, you're going to need to go faster, or you're going to need to add some weight. So go ahead and do that if you'd like. But in life, in your day-to-day, if you're one of those VW rabbits, let me think of a better, if you're a race car and you tend to go fast through your day, slowing down one task at a time. Clear the distractions away. See if you can. I have a note here. Work at the best times for you. I know that that's true for me. Most of the time, my best work needs to be in the morning. Maybe early, middle of the day. But a lot of times by 2 or 3 o'clock, it's a real downtime for me. Can depend on a lot of things, sleep, caffeine intake, other foods that might disrupt. Let's go ahead and do some forward here. Switching it up. So working at the best times for you, whatever is going to need your mental health. And I've read somewhere that our brain is really capable of working for about 4 hours a day, of doing the hard, analytical, heavy lifting work. Doesn't mean that we can't maybe balance a checkbook, make some plans. But things that take a lot of our energy, 4 hours of that really good energy, or maybe you're really pristine with your diet and your water intake, and you can squeeze a little bit more out of that brain. You're sleeping well. But the fact of the matter is the brain really needs those breaks. And it needs that for a lot of people, uninterrupted time, no distractions, to get going into a place of creativity, productivity, to flow. Slowing down, we talked about we could slow down our eating. We could slow down our driving. We're going to get there 1 minute later, 2 minutes later. And when you're driving and other people are in a hurry, how do we ignore them? How do we enjoy that car ride if we have that commute? Let's go sideways. Playing music, using the time in the car to brainstorm. Sometimes I'll even use my phone to record ideas. Don't want to be writing anything necessarily, but you might be able to. Have your pad of paper. And in order to have that slow driving or be able to drive slowly, what if you left 5 minutes early? Leaving 5 minutes early, allowing for zero rush. I grew up in a household where we rushed a lot, trying to squeeze in till the last minute the work we had on our plate. And then rush to get to the next thing, rush to get ready. It wasn't a real sustainable or very fun way to grow up. It's been hard to switch that. Still have a full plate, lots to do always, it seems. And have that tendency to want to run up the clock, run out the clock, right up until I need to go. Absolutely need to go to get in the shower, to get dressed, and to get in the car and drive 20 minutes. So I work hard at saying, I'm not interested in rushing. Can I live my life without the rush? I can work hard in my workout, but I don't need to have an elevated heart rate to go from one thing to the other. Maybe you have some similar stories, or maybe you're one that's the example was to be on time and if not early. So there always was time to get ready, to be in the car, and to be early. And the dishes were still done. That's the tricky part. All right, a couple more here to the side. Feeling that feet again. Noticing your breath. Maybe you check in with the heart rate. I'm going to switch here, tap, left, left. Oops, let's see. Left, left, right tap, right foot, right foot, right foot, right foot, tap, left foot, left foot, left foot, left, tap, last one, right, 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 right. We're going to start going to the side here. Each side. All right, how's everybody doing? Keep it up, going side to side there. Do a little knee lift. You can go faster. You can slow it down. You can continue to tap the foot rather than lift the knee. little crossover to that knee. Remember that move we learned? Up, out, up, back, up, L, lift, back, up, out, back, back, up, out, back, back, down, lift, back, up, out, lift. And lift that inside leg a little higher. Both the knees can lift every time. Good. Do one more on each side of these. Good, and center. A couple of switching it up here. So in creating an exercise habit, give some suggestions in the book here about that. Power of Less is the book. Starting light. I've heard this several places. If you're starting an exercise habit, to start with a very small amount, gradually add on to that, schedule it. Don't miss a day. And if you do miss, get right back on schedule. Try not to miss more than a day. And don't give up. So not going to say just because we missed a day that now we can just give up with the exercise. Little kick here. Kick. 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 And it can help a lot of people to have some accountability. Having a buddy, telling people what you're doing. I've seen both kinds of people. Some people are better if they have a little deal with themselves that's private. Other people do better telling others. Good. And then let's come back and march a little bit. So the last section for today about the book, we're going to do a little bit more step here. We're going to make some wide steps, and then we're going to do some touching the step stuff. So let's start with those big wide steps. Tap. The last section is about mindful eating. The suggestions in this book are to eat when lightly hungry. So if possible, we avoid that getting to the point of super hungry, because we know how the plan can kind of go off the rails if we get to the point, which is why it's so nice to have a schedule too for that. And I'll say, since I'm not in a job that's 9 to 5, where there's not a lunch hour, that's harder for me to implement a lunchtime. And if I did, I could eat when I'm lightly hungry rather than 2 or 3 o'clock. Now I'm really hungry, and then supper is just around the corner. And I'm not very hungry for supper until later, which I'd rather not eat later. Big steps. All right, and then we're going to come and let's see, I got to figure out how that goes again. Oh, we'll do it right in the center. That's what we'll do. So up, and one foot goes way back, hand comes down, up, down. Just switching it out and taking one foot back further, back, 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 back. Eat light foods, fresh foods. I think you can probably name the foods that are light and the foods that are heavy for you. Fruits and vegetables tend to be light. Maybe potatoes or sweet potatoes might seem a little heavy. Squash. But do you feel heavy after you eat them? Or does it help maybe satiate along with the broccoli and the beans? Come back to straight on here. I gotta see what my note says. I still can't read it. I can read the last one though. Eat until not quite full. This is a tricky one, right? But if we slow down our eating, for most of us, it takes 20 minutes for us to figure out we're full. If we eat really fast, we go right past the point of being full sometimes. Let's do a little bit of inner thigh here. I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna do a little crossover. Up, cross. I'm trying to reach my inner arch across. Up, reaching that inside heel across rather than pointing my toe. That would be this. I want to get that inner leg to work a little to cross. All right, other side. Up, up. All right, we're back in center. Let's check in with that heart rate. See where you're at. And we'll start to bring that down, although we know that sometimes doing a little bit of our weights will still keep that heart rate up a little bit, doesn't it? All right, I'm gonna pretty soon grab onto those weights. And let's keep the legs active for just a moment with our weights. Let's take the feet wide, turning the toes out a little bit. And with an exhale, let's go ahead, down and up. Actually, you can find your own exhales. Since we're still moving kind of quickly, I want you to just let your breathing do its thing. Bring those weights up. Let's try that here and down. Up. Yes, that's better. Up and down. Up and down. Good. How's the heart rate now? Yeah, mine climbed up there too. I'm gonna bring the feet underneath you. So that's more like a little HIIT, right? HIIT workout where we kind of spiked the heart rate. At least I did. The other stuff we did so far was definitely zone 1 and 2. I'm probably up there in the 4. Let's go ahead and work with some bicep curls since we're here. Soften your knees to feel the feet. Nice. All right. Let's go into some flies. So we'll do those standing. We also might do them. Yeah, we might do them reclining. We'll see. So I'm going to come forward a little bit here, bend the elbows here, and I'm going to work with the shoulder blades back here to come toward each other and forward. Muscles of the upper back. Good. All right. We're going to get to those triceps yet. Let's do a little bit of a little more one-legged squatting here. So I'm just going to keep the weights at the side. Let one leg get a little bit, well, let's find 2 first. So both knees bend and come back up. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to shift my weight a little bit, get light in one side. One foot is nice and light. You could even lift the heel up. Same thing. Stay nice and strong with that leg. Other side. Just doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Good, just enough to give us a little break. Heart rate go up again. Bringing the elbows into the side body. Pressing. Pressing. Triceps. Good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and come to the bench since I've got it here. My class on Sunday, we worked a lot with the push-up. We did a lot of preparatory work in the upper body, including this one. If you have a bench at home, this kind of bench or a different bench, it's really nice to work on some of the weights things with that. So I'm gonna bring the weights up and let them come down toward the chest. Elbows can go out, and the nice thing about the bench is my elbows can kind of come past where they would on the floor. And pressing back up. Control. 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Now, what if we did those flies? You can take a break, let the weights come gently down to the belly there for a second. And we had the arms somewhat bent here, but we're gonna go out and come back in, out and back in, out. And it feels different here because we can use more of the back maybe in the other one, and this one's resisting from the front or the chest and the inside of the arm a little more. Both sides of the arms get a nice workout here. I'm not bending the elbows to come down, but going out with the weights a little bit more. And I'm still gonna be I'm a little bit cautious. If I had a little lighter weights, I could probably go all the way out, but this is as far as feels stable. 3, 2, 1. Good. Weights down. And whether you're on your mat or if you're on a bench, you're gonna bring your hands, and you can bring them kind of alongside you or just underneath the sacrum here. And we're gonna turn out the legs a little bit, pointing the toes like a Pilates V. And we're gonna do a little scissor in front and behind, front and behind. And if you want it to be harder, you're gonna lower your legs a little bit more, reaching through all the toes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Draw the legs in. Draw the legs in. Good. Okay, and then whether you're seated on your bench or a chair or on the floor, let's bring the feet out, or you could cross them. Like it's okay, comfortable here for me to cross them if I'm sitting up on something. So straight or crossed. Let's just get in a little bit of a twist here. So letting your hand come back behind you and letting the chest is really what we're twisting here. So thinking about the shoulders and the rib cage to move to one side, toward that side. And yet your lower belly down here where your waistband is, it's holding steady, centered, or even almost pulling to the other side. You can just let your breath be, or you can take in a little deeper breath and exhale. Come back to center. And soften the face again here. Let's try the other side. Coming back to center. And let's take one leg over the other, as though you were going, if you're sitting in a chair, you're just crossing one over. I'll come toward you a little bit so you can see. And I'm going to sit back a little bit for this one. This side for me is a little wonky. Just going to get a little bit of that stretch there that's there. And so all I'm going to do is push with my own strength, my knee away from my chest, trying to keep everything else steady in the pelvis. It's not easy to do. I kind of want to shift everything. And then let's switch, crossing over. And same thing, reaching the knee toward the floor there. And this is a little bit different if you're seated up a little bit. If you're on the floor, it's almost better to be lying down to do it. Good. And we'll come back to center and up to our feet. Let's just do a little running to end. Good for the feet and good for the ankles to end there. So we'll lift one heel, bring it down, and lift the other heel. And spread out the ball of the foot and the toes. And you start with just kind of getting that nice stretch for the foot. And then you can start to switch in midair. Switch, switch. Mindful of what we're doing, kind of noticing the body and the mind in this moment at the end of our practice. Noting that the mind might be very receptive right now to learning. So if there is something on the list that takes brain power, or you'd like to learn a new skill, or it's a good time for meditation, kind of putting that in place next if you can. Doing the bills, getting that one thing off the list that's a little bit trickier, or maybe it's the one you don't want to do. It's a good one to tackle now. So we're all done for the day. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your day. And let me know if you watch this in the video archives, and let me know how it's going for you, since we don't all get together gather at the same time. But have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.
Thanks, Ingrid. Excellent.
Thank you. Oh, good. Thanks.